Good afternoon. I'm just trying to get the screen configured here. I don't know why this gives me so much trouble. Oh, there we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Hi. I just figured I'd go live again. It's a Saturday afternoon. Getting a little sprinkle of rain out in our backyard. You can see out there. That's that way. I just posted episode 5 of NASA Days. And so if you haven't checked it out, this is kind of the oral history of my days working at the Kennedy Space Center for NASA, first with Lockheed Space Operations. Eventually, we'll get to my NASA when I became a civil servant, but we're still in the Lockheed days right now. There's 5 episodes so far. Episode 1 covers kind of like my first month at work. And Challenger STS 51F, I believe it was launching, and that was the one that had the abort to orbit. So you'll learn all about, oh, thank you for the heart. You'll learn all about that Challenger mission, both the pad abort we had like the week after I arrived, and then when we did launch, we had an abort to orbit, which was very exciting as an engine person. A bit scary if you were on board, I would think, but you'll have that. Episode 2 is all about Atlantis's maiden flight, STS 51J, I believe. It was a secret DoD mission. Oh, thank you. Actually, a friend of mine, Reggie, gave me this on board the Ultimate World Cruise. So thank you. So I'm talking about my NASA days today. So if you haven't checked it out, go check out my playlist of my time at the Kennedy Space Center working for NASA. Episode 1 was all about Challenger's 51F, and then Atlantis, which is 51J, I believe. Its maiden flight, which was a DoD mission, and my journey through that processing in the OPF to the BAB, and then on to the into the pad flow and then launch. And then episodes 4 and 5 are a two-parter. I'm sorry, episode 3 it covers 2 missions: Columbia 61J at the end of 1985, and Challenger 51L, its final flight in January '86. That was a hard one to do, and that's episode 3. So check that out. And then episodes 4 and 5 cover the dark times for NASA between Challenger and Discovery's return to flight. And 4 was came out Wednesday. It talks about a lot of the changes and reviews NASA did prior to going live. And then today's episode 5, all talks about STS-26R and Discovery's return to flight. So that'll be exciting. Wednesday, we're going to have another episode, which will be STS-27R, which was Atlantis's first mission after return to flight. And that's one where I'm actually prime in the firing room for the engine avionics console. So, yes, thank you, TJ, for all the moderator work. Thank you, Tam, on board. So I kind of wanted to just ask for questions. Was I in the control room for Challenger? Yes, I was. I was in there firing through. I was in the training seat learning. That was my first actually launch I was in the firing room for. Episode 3 talks all about that. And so if you want to hear my my views and my experience on that, I would check out episode 3. And so what did I do for NASA? I started my career working on the Space Shuttle main engine avionics, which is part of the 3 liquid-fueled engines on the back of the Space Shuttle, and specifically the computer and all the sensors and electronics that were bolted to it. Later on, I did a bunch of ground system development stuff, became a manager, ended my career as the chief architect for the ground command control communication systems. I was a system engineering integration operations manager, um, working on SLS and Orion. I was the main interface between the ground computers and the flight computers on SLS, ICPS, the middle stage, and then Orion for the upper stage. And that's where I ended my career back in 2019. So I'm here if you want to ask me any questions about my time at NASA. I really kind of just wanted to make sure people knew that the NASA days is kind of an oral history. It's a work in progress. I'm kind of doing this as part of I'm in the process of writing my memoirs, my book. What did I study at school? So I studied computer engineering. I went to 2 years at a technical college in Connecticut for electrical technology, electronics. And then I got my 4-year degree, Bachelor in Computer Engineering, down in Melbourne, Florida, at the Florida Institute of Technology. And from there, I started working at the Space Center for Lockheed Space Operations first, and then I went to NASA. Thank you for Newsy. Newsy, thank you. I really like this color hair and the green outfit. And this is the headband that Reggie gave me when she came on the Ultimate World Cruise. So, green. Will you tutor? I don't know. I don't know that I can help a whole lot tutoring. I will try and give a lot of history in what I do. Um, if there's specific questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Um, this is not the Chrissy. The Chrissy one is actually shorter. This is one that I got. Tam actually ordered it while we were on the cruise through the TikTok shop, and it came in. It's a little longer than the Chrissy one, but it's a little wavy still, the red hair. But I like this one too. Hi from Toronto. What was your favorite part about the work that you did? You sound so interesting. I really enjoyed my time when I was doing console work in the firing room, working on the space shuttle. I enjoyed all of my time at NASA, but as you move up in management, you become more worried about people and budgets and schedules and risks, and spend less of your day doing the hands-on work. I enjoyed all of it, but I think if I look back at the memories, it was those hands-on days when I was actually running tests in the firing room or out in the space shuttle, uh, doing those things. It was the fun thing. Do I usually get human hair wigs? I have a mix. This one is not a human hair, it's synthetic, but I do have two human hair wigs. Chrissy is actually one. The red hair, the shorter red is a Chrissy, and I have a brown one that you see me wear a lot. That was I won't tell Chrissy, but I think I like this one. I really do. This is kind of a nice on me. I like Chrissy too, but this is a synthetic one. Chrissy is the human hair one. I love TikTok. This is like a half historical, half beauty life. True. I was 34 years at NASA. I was pretending to be male back then. I didn't start my transition journey until September, or actually June of 2023. So thank you all. I like how the waves, it does gives me frame. And actually, I have some eyeliner on today, but I don't have a lot of other makeup, other lipstick and eyeliner. I think the estrogen is making my face smoother and rounder. I like that. What are your thoughts about when they stop funding NASA? So I think it's important to explore space, whether it be NASA or private enterprises. Hey, Beth Ann, um, because I think it does a number of things. It expands our knowledge of the universe, but it also inspires kids and young people to get careers in science, technology, engineering, math, and it really expands and it motivates people. Do I think we spend all of our money there? No, of course we don't. We have a lot of budget, and we make decisions on what we fund. But the funding we give to NASA gives back like 7 times what we spend on it historically in the past anyway. So it's a good investment. Um, okay, I have a question. Sure, ask any question. Do you believe in aliens? So I believe we are not the only people in the universe. I think it would be crazy to think that this entire expanse of the universe, we're the only living people here. Do I think aliens have visited us? I don't know. Space is a really big place. The other planets and the other stars and galaxies are very far away. With the knowledge we have right now, it would be impractical that they actually came to visit us. But I also acknowledge there's a lot that we don't understand about the universe. So there may be ways to bypass some of that and allow them to get vast distances quickly. So I wouldn't put it past it, but I think most of the encounters have been probably something else other than aliens. So yeah, I can't believe we're the only ones. That would be silly to be in all this incredible beauty in the universe that we're the only ones here. So hey, how are you all doing? Um, yeah, there's way too much space. So thank you. I really like this wig, and I like the. I'm still working on my eyes. I'm not unhappy with the eyeliner today, but I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. So um, yeah, we don't really talk about the Trump person, and somebody's probably gonna. There he goes. That didn't take long. Thank you, TJ. And Tam was working on it too. um, So this necklace actually, Tam made it for me, my spouse, and it's a very pretty. I don't know what type of stone it is. Tam could probably holler that it was. What is it? Tam says it's a Labradorite, and then they wire wrapped it for me. And hey everyone, hi. And the headband was a gift from Reggie, who came on for one of the legs on the Ultimate World Cruise. Um, Tam, it's uh, kind of a silver. I don't know if it's silver, but yeah, Tam does wire wrapping, or at least they used to do a lot of wire wrapping. I have a lot of necklaces that are wire wrapped, stones and gems that Tam did. So Tam is very creative. I will agree with you that. Um, so thank you for finding my NASA story interesting. I'm going to keep doing it. Like I said, I'm in the process of writing my memoir. I went to a couple of enrichment talks on the Ultimate World Cruise on writing your memoir, and it kind of inspired me to kind of tell my story. And I'm working on my life story, and it's kind of be like three threads winding through. One is obviously my work at NASA, and the other thread is kind of a little bit of self reflection of like, when did I realize, or when should I have realized that I was a woman? Because I pretended to be male for 61 years of my life. And so, yep, the new one is on YouTube as well. It's easier to watch on TikTok because it's in that format. I didn't reformat it for YouTube, but there's a playlist there for um, on YouTube as well. So I'm trying to. So the book will be my NASA career wound through my search for when should I have realized I was a woman, and then a little bit about the Ultimate World Cruise and traveling as a female. And oh, thank you for the heart. And then finally a little bit of self-reflection and finding myself and who am I moving forward as a woman. And so that's my plan, is to put that together as part of that organization. I'm reliving a lot of memories of my NASA days, and I will share the NASA parts of the book as I'm coming up with them as part of my NASA days story on TikTok, and it'll be on YouTube. I also put it on Instagram and Facebook. So thank you all so much for the stuff. Do I miss the work? I do a little. I still watch all of the space stuff, whether when it's on YouTube, and Tam will be able to tell you. I'll be sitting there. I'm like, can I put a launch on? And it's like I was watching the sounding rocket launch from Norway the other day. They scrubbed, but as we were watching it, we heard the whole house rumble and shake. I'm like, oh, that's not this launch I'm watching. That's a different one. So we switched over to the SpaceX launch that just launched, and we caught some of that. And then I went back to waiting for the one from Norway. But how can I support my sibling who's transitioning? Give them as much love and support as you can. Be their champion. And I would say, all right, Beth Ann, we'll talk to you later. Love you. And give them as much support as you can. Are you still friends with your NASA colleagues after you start transitioning? Yeah, I haven't seen a lot of them because I've been on the World Cruise, but I've got them on Facebook. A lot of them know I'm transitioning. Some of them actually have reached out to me because they have children themselves that are transitioning that I never knew until I came out with my transition story. And then they privately messaged me and said, hey, our daughter is trans, or our son is trans. We have different people have different, children. I've also had people reach out to me that have had, spouses that are trans. The teller at the bank has got a trans spouse or partner. It's just amazing how much you see when you come out and you live your authentic self. It's amazing. Where will we move? I don't know yet. We're hoping Florida changes, but oh, thank you. You're so golden. Um, thank you so much. Um, so I would, if you have a transgender daughter, I would say love them, give them as much support, be their champion. It's not always easy depending on what state you live. Florida is bad right now. Texas is bad right now. There are other states that aren't good. Um, we've looked a lot of places. Portugal looks really nice for LGBT people. We like Grenada. We liked Uruguay. We could go back to Australia eventually. Tam and my daughter Jordan is from Australia. We could do that. I'm hoping Florida changes. I'm hoping we see a flip Tuesday. Fingers crossed. We're excited. We're going to have a kind of a election watch party Tuesday night. We're going to watch. I don't know if you follow Under the Table News. She's a wonderful reporter. I don't know, Under the Desk. Thank you. Under the Desk. I always get that wrong. Under the Desk News. I would check it out if you don't follow Under the Desk News. But they're having a live election night thing, and we're going to be watching that with them. And we've got like a charcuterie board set up with a bunch of different cheeses and some meats and some wine. I have some um, South African wine, I think, or was it Argentinian? We bought some wine that we brought home on the Ultimate World Cruise that are already chilling down in the fridge. So you're serving pizza, EH? That's awesome. Why do they support the young kids to do this about? It's about money. I missed the beginning of that. Sorry. Um, we had the South African wine. Yeah, we went to a couple wineries in South Africa and bought some wine. So um, I also follow Erin Reed, who does a TikTok, and also Erin in the Morning, and she's a transgender reporter. Reports on a lot of the anti-trans legislation around the country. So if you're interested in trans um, issues and trans legislation and how it's going, I would follow Erin in the Morning on TikTok, and you'll get a lot of good information. South African's the best wine. I like a lot of South African wine. I like a lot of New Zealand wine too, but New Zealand and South African, I think, are my two favorites. Yeah, there's no. We already voted. We understood the assignment. We completed the assignment. Um, you'll be cheering from Vieira. Yeah, that's not too far away from us. Um, yeah, I'm hoping that Texas and Florida flips, but we'll see. But I'm enjoying doing the NASA stories. Like I said, I'm kind of working the book side. I've got the NASA bits. I've got like the next one will be STS 27R, which was my first flight that I was primed for on the firing room. But I'm also covering like I'm up to my college days at FIT now, and what I did at college and my that life before I get up to. I'm also doing my early time at Lockheed, and then I'll kind of put them all together. So there's so many South Africans in New Zealand. That's probably true. That's probably true. Um, what do you think of all gender sports? I think women, whether they're cis women or trans women, or whether they're cis men or trans men, want to participate in sports, they ought to be able to participate in sports. I don't think there's really a genetic advantage. I think there's an advantage if you train hard, you work out, you build your muscles, and those kind of things. You also have natural advantages. Some people are born with bigger feet or bigger legs or taller or skinnier. There's some natural advantages that we don't care about. But, if you've ever taken hormone replacement therapy, I'm on estrogen and progesterone. I'm also on a testosterone blocker. I do not have muscles. I'm not strong. I'm not a powerhouse, even though I was, born, my at birth says I was male. When I'm on hormone replacement therapy, I have no advantage over any other woman other than the fact that they train. Or if I trained, I could, be competitive with them, but I don't have an advantage. Um, Night, what's the best place to visit? I missed the beginning of the question, Christian. Yeah, on Earth or in Florida? Um, we loved Tahiti, or specifically Moorea in French Polynesia. If you ever get a chance to go to French Polynesia, I would do that. If you ever get a chance to go to Japan, Japan is incredibly beautiful. The people are friendly, the culture is wonderful. I would definitely go to Japan in a heartbeat. Vietnam was beautiful. It's cheap. The people were friendly. I would go to visit Vietnam again. Um, Seychelles, Reunion Island, Mauritius off the coast of Africa was incredible. I would go to South Africa again. South Africa was beautiful. Um, Portugal was incredible. I would go back to Stockholm in Sweden. I would spend a week in Stockholm. Lexi, you've been watching the NASA series. Thank you. I just put episode 5 up there today. So if you get a chance, check that out. Your son took Japanese all through high school. Is finally going to Japan next month. That's also Jamie. We love Japan. We went to so many spots in Japan, and every place we went was beautiful. It's clean. The people are friendly. Their Shinto religion is so. I mean, they believe everything, every living thing, everything is part of nature, and they respect and revere everything. It's really a beautiful place. Portugal was incredible. We loved Portugal. We want to go back and spend more time in Portugal. Um, Yeah, I have 5 episodes right now, Kelly, on the NASA Watch. I have a playlist, so if you go to my profile, you can look at the playlist and you can watch all of them. I'll have another one coming out on Wednesday. I've been trying to do them Wednesdays and Saturdays. Um, Thank you, Sarah. I love this green, and it goes with the red. I like the combination of the red with the green. I kind of half wore this because today's episode was on Discovery's return to flight, and the whole Space Coast was crazy with green. It was green for go when we were getting ready to launch Discovery. So I kind of purposely picked this outfit because it's green, because I was talking about return to flight for Discovery, and and I wanted to have it be green. Um, Thank you all. Great surfing culture in Portugal. Well, that's cool. I don't really surf. I'm very not coordinated at all. But it was very LGBT friendly. It looked very livable. The cities we went to Lisbon and we went to outside of Porto. We'd like to go actually into the country a little more between maybe Lisbon and or between Portugal on the coast and Spain, some of the country areas. Oh, thank you. This was a gift from a friend, Reggie. She came on the World Cruise. Oh, thank you, Kristen. No one would ever know. I don't know what that was from or about, but okay. Um, Aloha, Doug Smith. Hey, how are you? I hope Florida flips next week. Me too. That would be exciting. When do you cruise again? Our next cruise is Independence of the Seas on February 3rd out of Miami. It is part of the Big Gay Cruise on Independence of the Seas. It's a 5-day cruise, so it goes to Grand Cayman and then Cozumel, and it's a family friendly Big Gay Cruise. You don't have to be gay, obviously, to go on it. It's not entirely booked out. It's just they booked like 600 rooms or something like that, and it'll be fun. Mother, make me a moderator. I can try next time. I've got Tam and TJ right now, but I will add you, Mother. I'm not really good at doing that other thing. Hey, Hillary, how you doing? Hey, Kelly, thank you for the hearts. Um, but no, like I said, I'm enjoying. I'm hoping I can have a book written sometime next year. I'm working on it. Oh, thank you, Kristen. Um, um, Thank you, Suzanne, for the rose. Thank you. I've been really kind of enjoying doing this. It's a little bit of self-reflection, you know. Kind of the premise is I've explored the world, and now I'm finding myself as a woman, and that journey, and then intertwined with my NASA days. So, oh, thank you, Pixie Chick. But if people have specific questions, I'm happy to answer. We're talking NASA here, right? So, what do you miss? Oh, what do I miss most about working at NASA? I'm sorry, Sarah. I miss the people. I miss being part of America's space program. It was really, I felt motivated. I felt like I was doing something good for the country and for humanity by working on things that reached out and explored space, that encouraged young people to study science, technology, math, engineering. Um, Thank you for the comments. Jerry Rosenberg and us are going on the Atlantis cruise February 3rd. I know. They already had that. You guys had that booked before the Big Gay cruise. Oh, thank you for the heart. Um, yeah, that was my purpose. I mean, that was kind of that's what I enjoyed. I also enjoyed just the technical challenges of it all. Every day there was something new, and you were solving some problem. I like to solve problems. Um, I enjoyed working with people, and even if they didn't agree with me, I enjoyed making sure everyone had their voice heard, and we could get all the issues out on the table, and we could talk about them, and we could figure out a way forward. And I really enjoyed that part of my career working at NASA. So, hey, how are you doing? Um, Yeah, Doug, we need to figure out a time when we're going to cruise again together. So maybe send us your itinerary next time you guys have got some cruise books. We will book one more cruise probably in 2025. We haven't got it booked yet, but we're thinking maybe Icon because we get a free cruise on because we turned Pinnacle on the World Cruise. But we haven't booked it yet. We haven't really planned anything. It'll be later in the year, I think. But that would be fun to kind of find a time to catch up. So if Tam's in the living room, we've got their feet up and is on here as well. Um, yeah, that would be awesome, Doug. Maybe we could find a time to free up. I know that's what we're thinking. It's very expensive to go on Icon. It's probably the most expensive one, but we get a free 7-day cruise as long as it's in the Caribbean. Doesn't matter the cost of the room. We get a free 7-day balcony cruise. So, is space science also applied in cruising ships so they move faster on less fuel, for example? Um, I don't know if space science is, but I think marine engineering, maybe a little aerodynamic, aerospace or looking for how to get the aerodynamics of it improved, working on new technologies for fuel, not necessarily space science, but engineering, good engineering. Have you been able to see more from see anyone from the World Cruise? Not since we've been back. We were gonna have dinner with Cruise Mom and Dad, Joe and Audrey, but the hurricane came, and then they went off to Scotland. They're back in Florida now. We're kind of waiting for a few things to settle, and then we'll try and see if we can find a time to meet with them for dinner. That would be awesome. We did meet somebody just randomly. We were at Cooper's Hawk in Orlando and ran across a couple that were on the World Cruise, and they happened to be at the same restaurant as us, and that was kind of freaky. Um, Hi, Helen, you from the NASA Bahamas. Glad I caught you live. I'm glad you caught us live too. Um, but yeah, I'd like to meet more people. I know there's some of the youngins are all at Disney this week. I say youngins, Little Rat Brain and Angie, uh, A, Andrew and Allie, as well as Matthias, Maddie, and his brother Nate are all at like in Orlando at Disney this week, at least from their TikToks I'm seeing. I had dinner with two aeronautical engineers last night. Both went to UF for working out, man. That's cool, Hillary. I will definitely give Joe and Audrey a big hug from you, Sarah, when we see them. Um, what's going on? Well, Judy, I did another update to my NASA days. I figured I'd come live and see if anybody had questions on my NASA stuff or about my transition journey or anything. They said it used to be the home base of NASA. So, I mean, partially true. Marshall Space Flight Center was where we sent all the Germans that we captured in World War II. So Werner von Braun and his Germans that worked on the V2. After going initially out to Arizona, we sent them to the Redstone Arsenal in Alabama, which later became the Marshall Space Flight Center. When they started launching rockets, including like the Bumper 2 and Jupiter, from the Cape Canaveral area, it was actually an extension of the Marshall Space Flight Center. It wasn't until I think 1960 or 1961 that Cape Canaveral became part of its own center, Cape Canaveral, and then after John F. Kennedy was assassinated, it became part of the Kennedy Space Center. So originally, NASA was at the Marshall Space Flight Center, and early on, and then they became part of NASA, and then Lyndon B. Johnson actually created the Johnson Space Center because he was from Texas. He was a president from Texas. And when we got to manned space flight, we had been actually launching Mercury and Gemini. People don't really know this. Mercury and Gemini, the mission control and the launch control was both at Cape Canaveral. And when we were getting up ready for Apollo, NASA bought a bunch of property in what is now Port St. John, and that was going to be the manned operations part hub for the Apollo program until President Johnson said, no, I want the manned spaceflight center to be in Texas because he was a big Texan. So he moved the manned spaceflight center to Houston, and they took up over a bunch of buildings that was part of Rice University in Houston, and they created the manned spaceflight center. And then the other centers kind of evolved through the years. You have Glenn up outside of Cleveland. You have Langley, which is originally more aerospace, not dynamics, aircraft and spacecraft in Virginia. You have Dryden Flight Research Facility, which is now Armstrong Space Center, I think out in the desert of California. You have Ames Space Flight Center, which is a lot of computer stuff out out near San Francisco, between San Francisco and San Jose. And you have the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which did a lot of deep space probes. Now you have Goddard, and you also have Goddard up outside of DC and Greenbelt, which does a lot of near Earth communication stuff. So um, you're from Newfoundland. I went to NASA a few years ago. It was amazing. I think they have a good, if you go to the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, I think they do a really good job there. Have you read Wild, From Lost to Found, Hiking the Pacific Crest Trail? No, I haven't. I'll have to go look for that. Thank you for that suggestion. Why do they want to land on the moon again after 70 years? So, a couple of reasons. I think the long range goal is to expand humanity to Mars and to move to Mars. Mars is a very difficult problem because communication getting from the Earth to Mars takes 11 minutes each way because of the distance and the fact that the radio signals can only move at the speed of light. And so things have to be more autonomous, or you can't control it like we do, like in the International Space Station or when we were doing space shuttles. Mission control and the flight crews were in constant communication, and they worked everything together as a team. If you're at Mars, you're on your own. I mean, communication is 22 minutes round trip, and so they're using the moon as a stepping stone to get back to Mars to learn again how to not just to put flags on the moon and footprints as the moon, they say, but how to live and work on the surface of the moon, where light time is only a second and a half between Earth and the moon to get there. So it's an opportunity to learn and to practice the tools and the technologies you need to eventually move on to Mars. What do I think about Elon Musk? I don't really like Elon Musk. I think he's kind of an idiot. But I think SpaceX is doing amazing things, not necessarily because of Elon Musk, but because of the really smart people he's hired to do a lot of the SpaceX things. Um, like I said on episode 3, when I talked about the Challenger disaster, I hope SpaceX doesn't have a bad day where they kill people. I hope that day never comes, but they haven't experienced that day yet. And that day changes people and it changes organizations. How you deal with loss of crew, loss of ground people. We lost 2 people even before Columbia launched. We had 2 ground technicians that went into the aft compartment of Columbia that was purged with nitrogen gas and died. We had a failure in our ability to control some of those confined spaces, and that changed us. Challenger changed us. Columbia changed us. Um, so I think commercial space travel, and I'm sorry if I'm only hitting part of this because I don't really read and talk at the same time. So I'll kind of finish one thought and then I'll look and see what questions are there. I think commercial space travel is exciting. I think it's opening up possibilities. It's getting new businesses excited about getting people into space, and I'm all for it. I think it's great. I think there's a mix of commercial and government funded. I think the government funded stuff is taking risks that commercial entities doesn't make sense to take. But then, once you kind of figure it out, doing the everyday routine stuff, it's perfect to put for commercial entities. Um, are those 2 astronauts still stuck in space? Um, they're not stuck, but they are still in space. They went up on the Boeing Starlink capsule. The Starlink capsule came back without any crew on board. It did land successfully, so it would have been okay, but they didn't want to risk it. What's that? Starliner. Sorry, Starliner. The Boeing craft came back without any on. It would have been okay, but they didn't want to take a risk. So the 2 astronauts, Butch and Sonny, are still on board the International Space Station. However, a SpaceX Dragon capsule launched with only 2 people. Normally it has 4. So it launched with 2. So it's up there at the space station now, and it's going to be their return home in February. So they're still there, but they're not stuck necessarily. But they're not planning to come back now till February. Was I there for Challenger? Yes, I was. And go check out episode 3 on my NASA Days playlist. You'll find it on TikTok on my. If you go to my profile, look at NASA Days. Episode 3 is all about my experience on the Challenger, and I was in the firing room for that day. It was a very hard episode to do, and so I would go watch it. Please do. Um, Thanks for sharing. I totally and fully disagree, but it's very interesting to hear your opinion. Okay, well, on which part, Sarah? I missed. Sorry, on the NASA in general or the use of commercial. Thank you for loving the NASA stories. Um, it's okay to people disagree. I mean, that's all right. I missed the part specifically, Sarah, while I was talking. Oh, commercial. Sorry, the space traveling. It's we've there's a lot of things we could do. We choose as a country to spend our money on specific things. Um, we spend almost $1 trillion, 800 billion on military. That's a choice. We spend 20 billion on NASA. That's a choice. We make decisions all the time. We could make better choices, I think, if we you look at those choices that are going to benefit humanity, benefit mankind, benefit the American people, I think we'll make better choices. Um, but um, I agree. We need to know what's out there. I think exploration in general. Uh, we're curious people. We want to explore. We want to understand how things work. Um, there was a lady, a physicist, astrophysicist on TikTok I follow, that had a really interesting thing yesterday on space time and how time works compared to um, space and how warping space warps time. All part of Einstein's general relativity, but it's hard to think about when you're thinking. What do you think the Israelis will stop after the elections? I don't know. I hope so. I think personally, I know most American presidents 100% are behind Israel, and I don't have a problem with Israel per se, but I think we should be more against what Netanyahu is doing and the war crimes he's committing. Um, so I'm hoping that will stop, and I wonder if some of what they keep doing is because of Trump and has been talking with um, Netanyahu to try and keep the war going until the election. So we'll see. Do you think there's life outside of the Earth? Yes, I do. I think it'd be silly to think we're the only ones here. It was nice to see you too, Jojo. We are parallel times all day long, depending on our thoughts. Yeah, that's true. I like that, Mother. Um, I think that I agree. It needs change the United States support for war. I think the whole war machine. I mean, the entire political thing is kind of. I find it kind of crazy that we spend so much on war and so little on education, so little on humanity, so little on feeding the hungry, and the fact that we don't have universal health care in this country, and health care is not a right; it's a something that's tied to your job. I think is crazy. Um, but that's most of my opinions. What do I do with my days now? Um, right now, I've been writing a lot actually. I've been writing my memoirs and writing kind of notes for the NASA Days stuff. We do have a cruise coming up in February. Uh, do you do a lot of stargazing? I don't right now. I should. I love going to planetariums, and when I was younger, I used to stay out and stare up at the stars. But I don't. I actually haven't even seen the comet yet. Have you seen the comet? Um, I probably should go do that before it becomes too late and we don't see it again. Um, and so, yeah, I'm out on the porch right now, and it rained. We had a few rain showers, but you can kind of see out in the that's our backyard. That's a big powder puff tree. We first saw those in Costa Rica when we went there. It was really beautiful. Is Boeing a real competitor for Musk? Two astronauts flying space point. I don't think Boeing's gonna. They're already talking about trying to sell off their space um, parts of Boeing and focus on aerodynamics and other things in military. So I wouldn't be surprised if Boeing sells off their space industries. Um, I think Boeing's still thinking a lot of old school. They've lived through um, disasters and bad days. So they're, right now, Musk and the whole SpaceX team, they haven't had to experience those bad days. And so I think they're taking some risk. That's not a bad thing as long as people understand the risk. They're not sending astronauts on Starship, and they're taking a lot of risk. I think NASA just asked them to go relook at the safety on their Dragon capsule after one of the astronauts came back last week and had to be hospitalized for some kind of unknown medical issue. I don't know whether it was specifically related to the Dragon landing, but shortly after they egressed out of the Dragon capsule, um, he had to be brought to a hospital for looking at. He was discharged the next day, but there's something out there, and I did see that NASA asked SpaceX to relook at safety on their Dragon. Haven't seen you on Facebook for a long time. Hello, hey, Miss Alex. Blue Origin, I think, is going to be exciting. Their New Glenn spacecraft is, I think, out at the launch at pad 36 now, getting ready for its kind of static firing. Um, I was in the military defense and systems at GE Aerospace. Okay, mother. I mean, they do a lot of work. Military aerospace funds a lot of stuff at GE Aerospace, Lockheed, Raytheon, Boeing, and it's there's a lot of good stuff to come out of it. When I was working for a while at NASA, I was working new technologies, and we would work with the DoD and part of their new technology programs. So a lot of funding goes into new technology from the military side as well as NASA side. You confused Kelly when they went back to landing in water? Yeah, I mean um, it's simple, it's convenient, it works. I think is what their thought was. There's more things you have to do to land on land to brace for impact. Boeing's craft does it. The Russians have done it for years. It's not hard, it's just easier. Of course, there's more logistics involved. You have to have a ship out there in the recovery area. You have to have boats to go make sure that you've got the craft there. One thing SpaceX does differently than we did in the past is they leave the crew in Dragon until they get it out of the water and onto the recovery ship. Oh, thank you, Helene. Um, it, it would be possible. Would you ever go into space yourself? I don't think I would because I do well on ships. I don't do well on roller coasters or rides that go around. And I think I would just be sick the whole time. Plus, as an engineer, I seem to know a lot of the single point failures of how things fail. Even when I'm on airplanes, I know a lot about how airplanes work. And so I'm a little nervous flyer on airplanes just because I know how they work. But did NASA land in water at one time? Yeah, the Apollo craft. Actually, Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo all landed in the water. And Artemis 1 landed in the water. Artemis 2 will land in the water again off the coast of San Diego. So thank you for the gifter badges. Thank you for the all the roses and everything. Have you listened to the podcast 13 Minutes to the Moon? No, TT, I haven't. I'll have to look for that. I like to listen to podcasts that are space related and things like that. I will find it and look for it. Thank you all. Um, but I would not go into space myself. I don't think. Um, I like being on ships during storms. I don't have a problem with the ships for some reason. I'm not excited about turbulence a little bit. I don't love it as much as I don't mind it on ships. I'm not crazy about it on planes, but like I don't do roller coasters. And there's this evil ride at fairs called the rotor, which is a round thing that you stand in and it spins you around and the floor drops out and you're stung to the wall by centripetal force. I hate that. Puppy's name is Bandit. He's come out now to kind of see what he likes to watch the critters out in the yard. So I kind of move him a little bit so you can see him better. But that's Bandit. Um, you have never even flown an airplane? I have flown in airplanes. Obviously, I've traveled around both for NASA and for going on vacations. I do it. I do get a little nervous. I still do it. I know we're inherently safer on a plane than you are on driving to the airport, but we're in Central Florida right now. So the Dutch girl came back just to say, "Yay for the orange nails!" Thank you. I'm actually going to get my nails done Monday. I have a mani pedi appointment. I think I'm going to go blue and prep for Tuesday's election party. So that's going to look at doing that. But me and my daughter Jordan, our daughter Jordan, have a she's got a manicure appointment. I've got a mani pedi on Monday. So that's my plan. Is the weather nice in Florida? It's a beautiful day. It rained for a little bit. We get afternoon showers every night. They don't last long. You haven't seen me? I've been posting videos still. I don't they don't come up as much on the For You page for people. But I've been posting about every other day. I don't do every day because I'm kind of boring now. I don't do a lot, but I want to keep people up to date on what's going on, things happening. So I'll do like about every other day. I'll post, and I've been doing the NASA days on Saturdays and Wednesdays. So I'll probably do another video maybe Monday, and then Wednesday, and then Friday maybe, and then Saturday. We'll see. Um, Tam is not working in the U.S. right now. We're essentially both retired. Um, Tam worked in Australia before coming over, but um, when Tam moved here, I have a lot of. I worked for the federal government. I had 8 weeks of vacation a year, and was planning to use them all. And coming into the U.S. and trying to get a job, they don't allow you to take more than 7 days of vacation. They don't let you to take. They won't let you take unpaid leave as well, and so it just didn't work with our plans. And so it actually works out better not to work. Um, so I'm retired. I get a NASA pension. Um, just caught up on my NASA videos. Thank you. I've been gonna keep putting them out, probably about twice a week. I'm trying to do Wednesdays and Saturdays. Um, but and I'm also, while I'm doing that, I'm writing a book. So, and hopefully, um, I get that done. I'll probably need to find a few people that will do it, who will read it and give me some criticism and feedback. So I may be looking for people to kind of proofread it for me when I get close. I'll let people know. Um, but that's kind of working on right now. We've got a few things coming up. We've got meeting friends for dinners here and there. Um, our friend Sabrina, who was Ultimate World Cruiser on the Ultimate World Cruise, a bunch of the Ultimate World Cruise people just took Adventures of the Seas, did a transatlantic from Port Canaveral over to Seville, Spain for, or Cadiz, Spain for a dry dock for a couple weeks, and then I think 4 days later they you can take Voyager back to Port Canaveral because it's doing its transatlantic. So there's a whole bunch of people that jumped on Adventure of the Seas through transatlantic to Europe, and then spend 4 days in Europe, and then they'll take Voyager back to Port Canaveral and do another transatlantic. So it's just really good timing. Um, yeah, the holidays allowed in the U.S. are horrible, but we're gonna pick a reason I was saying that we're gonna pick Sabrina up when she gets back and spend the day with her before she heads back home. So that'll be fun. Um, hello from Canada. Hi. We're also going to try and visit our friend Jerry. We haven't really talked about it yet, but I know he's on a Pinnacle cruise in December, and the cruise is out of New Jersey, but it stops at Port Canaveral for a day. I think on the 3rd of December. So we may try and see if he wants to catch lunch. That would be fun. Um, and other than that, we just have doctor's appointments. So lots of doctor's appointments. I've got laser hair removal stuff. Ohio here, and we're beating Penn State right now. Go Bucks! Cool. I don't really follow college football too much. I went to FIT, and we didn't really have a. They have a college football team now in a low division, but when I was there, they didn't. They only had like a soccer team. Hey, from Oasis of the Seas, Mid Atlantic. Oh, cool. Hey, Nick, that's so cool. There's a lot. This is the time of year when a lot of the transatlantics are coming back from Europe to Florida for the winter. So that's cool. We'll probably do that again someday. Um, we're doing well, thank you, Washington State lady. We're getting there. Um, we've got. I was looking at a cruise next year, but it's way too expensive. If you do Liberty of the Seas out of Southampton, I think next August, first week of August, I think it's a 9-day cruise, but it includes a solar eclipse. So there's a solar eclipse going on. They're going to be in position for, but it's like the inside cabin was like $1,200, $1,300 a person, and that was kind of more than I wanted to pay right now. So we're not going to do that. Next year we'll do the big day cruise in February, and then we'll do our free cruise on some ship, possibly Icon, later in the year. And then the following year we'll look at maybe doing 2 cruises. So we'll probably try and get back to our. I mean, for a long time we used to do 2 cruises a year. We would do one in the beginning of the year, one in the end of the year. We would look for the cheaper times, like hurricane season was usually cheaper, and so we try and find one during hurricane season, and usually one in the early part of the year. It's fairly cheap, so. If you cruise from Seattle to Alaska, that's your dream cruise. We haven't done from Seattle. We've done Alaska twice. We've done both on Radiance. We've done Ketchick. We've done Seward to Vancouver both times, southbound. Um, Aloha, how are you? Hey, Reggie, how you doing? You're doing 22 days in Antarctica next year and this seeing eclipse. That's cool, Julie. Oh, that would be an amazing. Who's that with? Is that celebrity or somebody? That's awesome. We loved Antarctica. Um, Antarctica was the most magical place, one of the most magical places and things we've ever experienced. Um, I mean, it literally took us weeks to just process all the beauty and the serenity and all the serene. I mean, the water was flat. The atmosphere, because of that latitude, was kind of a weird hue. There was icebergs, there was whales and penguins all over the place. It was so desolate. Um, it's the scenic company. It's Discovery Cruise. Okay, well that's really cool. I think you'll have a great time if you haven't been to Antarctica yet. It's truly beautiful. You'll be moved. Um, you get to land too. We didn't get to land because we were on a big ship. You have to be on one of the small ones. Daughter leaves Thursday for her second time there. She's excited. That's cool. Um, I love Captain Merrick. He is the best. Um, Second only to Shell, and not so much Shell, but Shell's wife, Miss Jennifer. Jennifer is incredible, and so if you want to have Jennifer, you have to have Captain Shell. But Merrick is probably my favorite captain. He's just incredible. He always has a pride flag for the flag days. He always carries the pride flag himself, which I thought was incredible. Thank you for all the gifts. Thank you, thank you. Um, so yeah, we loved Merrick. I think he's on Odyssey now, um, off and on. I think he rotates with another captain, but that's the other thing we thought about maybe doing Odyssey for our free cruise because Captain Merrick will be there, and we have some of the crew we know that was on the Ultimate World Cruise early on are on Odyssey. So we'll have to see what we want to do. I don't know whether we'll go on Odyssey or Explorer. I mean, Icon or Odyssey or something else. We'll figure it out, I'm sure, when we get close. We still have to get our Pinnacle package with the hasn't come yet. A lot of people started to get their um, Pinnacle kits. Ours hasn't come yet, so it was so hands on the ship. Oh, that's cool. I really like Captain Merrick. Thank you. This I did this for fall. I was originally going to do a different orange color, but this one was called pumpkin butt, and so the lady talked me into it. So, but you can see they need to be done. I'm going to go blue on Monday in preparation for election night coverage. So, have you seen the new 3.5 year cruise? Yeah, we've been following it. I know some friends that were on the Ultimate World Cruise that booked a few cabins. It's a Villa V Residencies. I followed one of their Facebook pages and I follow a few of them on YouTube. It looks interesting. They spend more time in port. A lot of places where we were there for 8 hours, they'll spend a day or two at port, so you get to see more time there on things. I like to try a cruise in shorts and t-shirt. When you don't have to dress up, dressing up is not required, and um, I mean, you can eat the windjammer all the time too. You don't have to be in the main dining room. Um, I'm happy to be home right now. I'm adjusting to life. I'm writing my book, my memoirs. I'm putting out the NASA Days videos, my kind of oral history of my time at NASA. Um, yes, I got my correct license. So I finally have a Florida driver's license that says I am Bobby and I'm a female. I think I did a video on it. I'm like, I got an F on my driver's license, but it was right where I wanted it, next to the word sex. So I'm very excited. The trick is you have to get your passport first. Florida won't take a doctor's note, but they will abide by your passport. So they'll take that as your primary ID and they'll match your passport. So whatever your passport says, they'll say. So I was able to get my passport done because that's federal. And then I took the passport to Florida and Florida had to do it. So um, yeah, I mean, you don't have to dress up. I like to dress up sometimes, but even on the world cruise, after like the first leg, I don't think we got dressed up for formal night again. It was just like too much work. We're like, yeah, we're gonna go as we are. Um, oh, thank you, Kiki. Thank you, Hawaii KK. Um, Susie K. Thank you, thank you. Traveler 50. Do we know? Oh, Cruise Dad. Um, he is recovering. He's you know, I think he's got doctor's appointments. He's back in Florida. Got some doctor's appointments. We're praying for him. Hope everything goes well. Him and Audrey, they're incredible. We love them. Uh, so we were going to catch him for dinner, but the hurricane interrupted that. So we'll try and find a time coming up when we can do dinner again. So um, yeah, I know it's kind of scary when you don't know what's wrong. Thank you, but it's like, oh, the birds. Can you hear the birds in the background, or is that just me? We were on Royal Caribbean. We did the Ultimate World Cruise, which was a 9 month, 274-day cruise. It was broken into four segments or 17 legs. And a lot of the people, some of the people that were on here, Reggie was on for a bit, Lexi was on for a bit, um, others that have, Doug was on for a bit, that were on the live, came on and did a leg or two. And that was really cool to kind of meet people um, that followed you on TikTok, and that was cool. Um, I like this hair color. Thank you. This is one of the wigs we got off the TikTok shop. So I'm starting to get some branded content coming. They're sending me some free samples of some stuff I'm going to try. There's this new bra that I like. They're going to send me that, and so I'll kind of if I like that, I'll send you do a video on the bra. And I've also got like a face cream, night face cream that I was going to try. They're like, oh, we'll send you it if you want it. Just have to do a video on it. So I'll give it a try. If I like it, I'll do it. So thank you. Uh, couldn't tell it was a wig until you said it was. Oh, thank you. I have a lot of wigs. I because I didn't start my transition till I was 61. If I had my hair, one, it would be gray, and two, I've had 60 years as male pattern baldness, and so I keep it short and I just wear wigs. I feel more comfortable that way. I feel better that way. It's more me. Um, because I had lost a lot of hair before I started my transition, I doubt I will get it back, but I kind of still pray that maybe estrogen will do some of its thing and I'll get some of the hair back eventually. But um, Cam didn't seem to think that was going to happen. So, um, are you going to do another long cruise? Not a 9 month cruise. We thought 9 months was probably too long. We enjoyed it. We loved our time on it, but we wouldn't do another 9 month cruise. We would do maybe a month or even up to maybe 3 months, depending on the cruise. I would love to do what was segment one, which was 2 months from Miami to LA via South America and Antarctica coming back up. If they ever did that cruise again, that would be really fun. Celebrity has a 110 night cruise, I think going from west coast of California somewhere or Vancouver over to Asia and then Australia. And that looks like really fun, but I don't know that the timing will work out for that. So we will probably do some cruises, but probably not more than 90 days or 100 days max. But not definitely not a 9 month cruise. How did you like Africa? I'm from South Africa. We loved Africa. We loved South Africa. Went to the Ado Range on when we were at I think they call it Berta. It used to be Port Elizabeth, but now it's Berta. I don't do the clicking sound very well. I'm sorry. We went to Mosul Bay, and we did a trip to a little town near there, and we spent overnight in Cape Town, which was really nice, and we including a visit to a couple of wineries. So we did Namibia, which was really good. I'm not real big on sand and desert. I enjoyed learning about the culture and the people, but I don't know that I would definitely go back to Namibia. Angola was a little sketch for us. We didn't go far. Um, we didn't get off in Ghana because of the anti-LGBT laws. And Senegal was nice. We got off in Senegal. That was really moving. We loved the little islands off the coast of Africa, like um, Seychelles and Mauritius and Reunion Island. We didn't get to go to Madagascar because there was a cyclone, but I would love to go back to Madagascar, catch that. And we didn't go to, there was another Seychelles island that Tam really wanted to go to that we didn't get to go to. So we'll try and do that. Did you meet any of the NASA pioneers in your time there? I did actually. I gave firing room tours to Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, a lot of the early Apollo astronauts. John Young, who was STS-1, would always come back whenever Columbia flew. He would show up in the orbiter processing facility the day after it got in there to check out his baby that we considered Columbia was his ship, and he would always be there, kind of checking it out when I got back from each flight. Did we really go to the moon? Yes, we did. Thank you for the BLP. Thank you. I like this. Um, so I've seen a lot of people. I've met some people that have come through the firing room, given tours. I've met at the time it was Prince Charles, now King Charles. Met him. I've met the Clintons. Hillary Clinton was very excited about space. Um, they came to the Space Center because John Glenn was flying on the space shuttle when he was 75, and so because he was a senator, they a bunch of politicians came for that launch. Uh, I would love to come back to Africa sometime. There's a lot of Africa we haven't seen. I really enjoyed it there. I am retired right now. I do not work. I retired from NASA after 34 years. So I get a NASA pension, I get Social Security, and we're living off that, and saving a little and traveling again. Most of our savings was on the Ultimate World Cruise, so that's how we decided to spend our savings, was to go see the world and explore it. So, and now I'm working on a book, my life story, talking about my time with the space program and my transition journey as I learned that I was only pretending as a male and starting my journey as a woman and trying to find myself. So that was going to be the story um, I'm working on. It. I wouldn't do a long world cruise. I would do part of it. I mean, we would probably talk about doing part of it. Does NASA disclose alien life? Thank you for the heart. Yeah, I mean, if we found aliens and it was up to NASA, I think we would. I mean, we can't keep secrets. We're not very good at keeping secrets. We're not the military. I mean, um, but I've never heard of anything that we found. I think they found things that might be um, bacteria in meteorites found in Antarctica that they believe came from extraterrestrial origins. I think I read recently that there was some excitement about something found on Mars that hasn't been proven or peer reviewed to say that definitely was biologic doings, but there's some things out there. Oh, hey, Miss Mac. I've been posting every couple of days. They're just not showing up on the For You page. I don't know of a good hashtag or something to use that gets me back on the thing. So hopefully going live and posting and talking about stuff will help. So I'm trying to live my best life. Thank you. Is your necklace Moldovite? No, I think it was oh, Tam told me already and I forgot. Are you still there, Tam? Labradorite. Thank you. It's Labradorite, and then Tam wire wrapped this for me. So this was a gift from Tam, and they made it. So it's very pretty. Do more lives. I'm into the political ones now, but enjoy your lives. We've been following the political ones too, but I will keep doing it. I'm going to try and do NASA ones on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Maybe I'll try and go live, following those to kind of help make sure people see them and know that they're out there if they don't show up on people's For You page. Um, well, that's good to know, TJ. I'll try and do that. You know, go live even for a little bit and say, hey, I just posted an update. It's there. You know, if you want to go see it. Is NASA now Space Force? No, NASA is NASA still. What was the Air Force, parts of the Air Force became Space Force. So, like the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station is now the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Still hard to say. Patrick Air Force Base is now Patrick Space Force Base. Um, but so it's some of them. There's still Air Force bases because the Air Force is still a thing. But um, Tim is very talented. Tim is very talented. Um, Got to do a little puzzle piece here. It says I've been here for an hour. Um, at Cruise Mom and Dad, hi. Did I miss it? Is Cruise Mom and Dad on? How are you guys doing? Oh, that's so cool. Um, yeah, we've been watching a lot of political stuff on TikTok. Hey, Cruise Mom and Dad, how are you guys? Do you want to join the live and say hi? But that would be fun. If you want to, I can try and figure out how to do it. No, no pressure. Let me see if I have to take this off that mode. Um, I can invite them for you if they say yes. Okay, thank you, TJ. I don't know. I don't want to put them on the spot, but if they want to, I'd be more than love to have them, and can find out how they're doing. So um, that would be awesome. I miss both Joe and Audrey. I've got to find a time. when they're up to it that they want to get together for dinner. So, um, hey, from Cape Town. I loved Cape Town. Cape Town was a fun place. I really, really enjoyed it. There's some people did have some issues at night when they went out. There are like any city. There's certain areas you got to be careful of, but we had a good time. Tehachapi, California. Hi, Debbie. I don't know where that is. Where's Tehachapi, California? Hey, from the UK, Sarah. Mountain City, Tennessee. Hey, Michelle. But yeah, we're doing good. We're trying to like I said, we got a few things coming up that we're gonna do. Um, did I meet any of the original designers or engineers of the space shuttle? I don't know if they were original, but I've met a lot of the um, what they call the subsystem leads for different parts of the space shuttle. Some of them I think were original designers. Others, have inherited that, become subsystem experts. I did talk to some of the early people that helped develop the space shuttle main engine, especially at Marshall Space Flight Center, and who worked at Rocketdyne. And there was a the space shuttle project manager for a while, many years, was a German, one of the guys running the original team that came over with Werner von Braun, named Otto Getz, and he was the project manager for the space shuttle main engines. And the joke was going around that whatever Otto wants, Otto gets. And he was a really nice guy. I did a audit of the space shuttle main engine controller flight software with a team of there was 5 of us total, and we were asked to go audit the software looking for problems, and we had to do our final report to him. And he was very thankful that we went and reviewed all of that. We found a number of problems that they fixed and how they did their software. So it's an hour east of Bakersfield. Okay, I know where that is. That's kind of where the 101 and 5 come together, right? Um, when did I decide to transition? Do you remember the year? Actually, it was late. It was 2023 is when I came out officially in my transition. Um, what I'm doing in writing this book and my memoirs is I'm trying to pinpoint those times in my life when either A, I probably should have realized I was more feminine than masculine and pretending I was a male, and or the times when I did realize it, but maybe thought I didn't have the support or thought I was too old to start the transition. Those are the kind of things I'm looking for when I'm writing my memoirs to try and identify those parts in my life when I probably should have realized much sooner that I was kind of living a lie, pretending I was male. So that's kind of what I was looking at. Um, Thank you. Tam made this Labradorite, and it's wire wrapped, and Tam is very talented. So thank you. Thank you, Fred. I like green on me actually, and I'm not unhappy with my eye makeup today. I'm not. It's not perfect yet. I'm trying to get better. I'm practicing more and more, but I'm not unhappy with it. So that's it. That's better than the last few days when I was not really happy with it, but figured out I got to do it and I got to practice it. So I'm not unhappy today. But yeah. So I guess Joe and Audrey, you guys didn't answer, so I guess they didn't want to join. But I know we were going to get off in Amsterdam and spend the day there. We've been there before, but unfortunately, the protesters we didn't get there till late that night, and then the next day was turnaround day. During her transition 20 years ago on a flight to DC. Oh, that's cool. I've met so many trans people. Once you come out as being trans, people realize you're safe, and they start opening up to you about their stories. So that's been really special to meet and learn so much about the different trans people that are out in the community. They're there. We've been here forever. This is November's Trans Awareness Month. I think the second week is actually Trans Awareness Week. It followed, and then also on the 20th is the Trans Day of Memory, remembering all the trans people that have been killed, basically, due to bigotry and transphobia and hatred. So, a lot of things going on in November. So, um, thank you. Um, I missed some of the stuff. I know Tam's kind of answering questions back and forth. Thank you, because I miss half of, I think, the comments. Because, like I said, when I'm talking, I'm not reading. I'm kind of, that's a part of the brain that maybe is not totally female, is I'm not very multi-threaded. Um, but, it's a spectrum. Aw, thank you, Tam. Um, yeah. Well, I mean, does anybody have any more questions? I think I've hit a dead end of talking and rambling. I've kind of talked for over an hour. I'd love to answer any questions you have. If not, I'll probably let y'all enjoy some of your afternoon. Cruz, mom and dad, if you hope you're doing good. Would love to hear from you, and would love to kind of get together when you're ready and see you good. Would love to hear from you, and would love to kind of get together when you're ready and see you. So Hawaii quiet. Let's talk politics. We are hoping that we turn the country blue. That's a word we're hoping. I'm anxious, but also optimistic. Um, I think we're being fed that this is closer than it actually is. I think you look at the polls, a lot of the polls that are funded by one side, they make it look like it's close, but there's no way it's got to be that close. I mean, if you look at the Madison Square Garden hate fest last weekend, if you look at all the damage that's come of that, you look at everything he says, how can people still support that? I don't understand it. And the fact that not only when you look at the early voting, you look at the Democrats, but you realize that probably 10% of the Republicans are also going to vote for Harris. If you look at majority of the non-party or independents are going to vote for Harris, I think it's going to be a big turnout, and I think we're going to see the first female president, and I'm so excited to be able to call her Madam President. So, but I'm hoping we also turn all of the down ballot ones races too, so that we can actually accomplish something meaningful for the American people, and not just play politics in Congress. I think that would be awesome. There's so much work that has to be done. How much work did the last Congress get done? Absolutely nothing. They spent 2 years and they haven't governed at all, other than you know stage shows to create sound bites for right wing news media. That's about all they've done. Yeah. I hope we're right too. I'm anxious. I'm hopeful, but I'm still a little anxious because we all thought Hillary was going to win in 2016 too, and woke up the next morning to really horrible news. So, um, and our first gentleman too. Yep. So that's the goal. So and we're going to watch Under the Desk News on election night because they are live and having an election watch party. And so we've got my laptop on TikTok. We're going to show it. We're going to put it on the big screen. We've got wine and we've got charcuterie and various cheeses that we bought, and it's gonna be a party hopefully. So yeah, how is that possible that Red thinks they're winning? I don't really understand it. I mean, I get that there are people that are part of the cult, and there are people that have voted Republican all their life and can't see beyond voting for anything else. But I think there are a lot of I've known a lot of Republicans that are voting for Harris. Maybe not voting all down ballot Democrat, but they're voting for Harris. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. We're excited, but I'm a little bit anxious. And so I think Tam said this morning they were. It's like Christmas. I can't wait till Tuesday to be here so we can watch the election results. Because we're not going to. I'm going to have a mani pedi on Monday, but we're not really doing much between now and election. Yeah, Tam's been on this like nonstop for like weeks, following the University of Florida has an election lab website with all of the data for the mail-in and early voting, and Tam's on it like 10 times a day. And this is a top. So this is just a top shirt, and I've got a skirt on underneath it. So thank you. I love the green. I do like green. And this Reggie, if she's still on, this was a headband from Reggie. She was on the World Cruise. Yeah, we watched PBS NewsHour yesterday for the first time in a long time because one of the trans reporters was supposed to be on there. Aaron Reed, who does Aaron in the Morning. Turns out it was a broadcast that's going to go over the weekend or Monday. But I watched the PBS NewsHour, and I'm still very disappointed in the news we get, even from PBS. If you look at the American news channels, you get a very filtered view of the world. And I think the news, independent news programs on TikTok and other places really give you a much better sense of what's going on in the world. And so we get a lot of our news from TikTok nowadays. Um, Tam is really good at picking out patterns and things. Do you follow Harry and Parker? I do not. I'll have to look them up. So, and understand more female and male. You do? Is that Parker the guy we used to watch on YouTube? Okay. So Tam follows Harry. We'll have to look for that. So, um, and understand more female and make chromosomes. Mini abdomen. I don't understand what you're asking. Sorry, I missed part of that. Um, this is not chosen. Okay. Um, anyway, so that's a lot going on. Hopefully, when I go live on Wednesday after posting a NASA Watch, we'll have some good news. We may not have final good news on Wednesday. Um, there's people thinking it'll probably be mid-November before we get the definitive answer of things. But yeah, okay. But Tam says we should know Wednesday. So you strongly dislike Harry, but soon realize how intelligent he really is. Okay, well, interesting. Sandy, she is nice and sweet. I don't know that. Don't know her. There's a lady I follow that covers Ron DeSantis news called Following Oz, maybe? Is that her name? Um, was really good on finding Florida news. Um, Chasing Oz, thank you. I probably should give Tam a mic. But so we've been following the voting stuff for a while, um, and almost you'd say obsessed with it. We're following it very very closely. But it's almost over. Do I like DeSantis? No, I absolutely do not. I think he's a horrible human being. And he's kind of weaponized the Florida government against trans people, against LGBT people. He's just horrible. He's as bad or close to being bad as, it's a toss up is who's worse, DeSantis or Texas's Governor Abbott. They're close. They're both really, really horrible human beings. Um, and we have them still for 2 more years. The good news is in 2 years, DeSantis is term limited, and so DeSantis will be gone from Florida, from the governorship anyway. Um, mind if I ask some non-political questions? Of course you may, Scott. Um, Interesting that you're getting the opposite information, Tai Tai. No, go ahead, Scott. Ask whatever you want. I'm open to any questions. You notice it's raining again. I probably can't see it, but you can hear it. Did I work for NASA? Yes, I do. I used to. I spent 34 years with NASA. If you go to my profile, there's a playlist called NASA Days, and I've got 5 episodes out so far. That's kind of chronicling like an oral history of my time at NASA. I'm only up to about 1988, September 1988 to be exact. I started working out there in July of 1985. So the first 5 episodes have gotten us from July of 1985 up to September of 1988. And Wednesday is going to cover December, pretty much up to December of 1988, when it's my first time that I'll be prime in the farm room for Atlantis's launch after return to flight. So I worked on the space shuttle main engines early in my year, and then I went into management and development. I did some ground system development. I did management. Um, Ended my career working SLS and Orion. Um, but I would say check out my playlist of NASA called NASA Days, and then I'm going to try and go live at least on Mondays, on Wednesdays, and Saturdays when I post the NASA stuff. So thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. Well, thank you. I'm trying to kind of go through my life. It's part of a memoir I'm writing. So I'm releasing the NASA parts as we go, but I'm actually writing a much bigger story, which is the story of my life, which includes my time at NASA, but also my journey to explore who I am, and when did I realize I was really a woman? So so anyway, I think probably we should call it a day because we've been on for a while now. I thank all of you for joining the live and 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 having such great questions. So, oh, hey, Michelle, you found a new sister in transition. Thank you so much. Reach out to me, send me a message, and we need to follow each other. So I'd like to talk more about your transition journey. That's so exciting. So I'll talk to you all again. I'll go live again, and probably Wednesday, sometime after I've updated the episode 6 of NASA Days, and probably try and do lives a few times during the week too. Maybe not for as long. So enjoy your all weekend. If you haven't voted and you're a U.S. citizen and you're still able to do early voting, get out and early voting. Otherwise, make sure you vote on Tuesday. It's important. Um, we'll definitely do live after the election for sure, and we can talk about hopefully the celebration we're experiencing. So that'll be fun. So talk to y'all later. Thank you, TJ, and everyone for the moderators. Um, and Harris Waltz 2024, hopefully. So, yep, we voted. We voted by mail, but we actually brought ours down to the supervisor elections. Turned it in. So, bye all. That was my hearing. My ears just kind of died, so I probably need to start shutting everything down. Bye all. Talk to y'all later. Bye bye.